Welcome music lovers, join us today as we delve into the highs and lows, the glitz and glamour and the tragic demise of the incomparable Pete Burns, the frontman of Dead or Alive. So let's dive in. Peter Giuseppe Burns, born the 5th of August 1959 in Port Sunlight, Wirral, England. Burns's mother, Evelina von Hudeck, hailed from Heidelberg, Germany. Her Jewish heritage led her to flee the Nazis, settling in Vienna where she met Francis Burns, an English soldier from Liverpool, at a tea dance. Pete Burns exclusively spoke German until he was 5 years old, leading local children to taunt him with Heil Hitler chants outside his house. From childhood, Pete Burns had a passion for costumes and an obsession with Native American culture, often wearing an Indian headdress and having his mother set up a teepee at his school playground. He admitted to being a lonely child, finding solace in drawing and painting rather than socializing with others. Burns credited his mother for his love of fashion, recalling her multiple costume changes daily and meticulous makeup routine. Despite her struggles with alcoholism, drug addiction, and suicide attempts stemming from wartime trauma when learning the fate of her family members during World War II, Burns regarded her as the best mother, providing him solace and nurturing his imagination during a solitary childhood marked by abuse. He found refuge in their shared world, where she empowered him to dream and escape reality through creativity. Burns described his school experience as almost non-existent, with his mother often keeping him away to spend time with her. He faced constant taunting from both teachers and peers for his unconventional appearance. Burns dropped out at 14 due to the perceived danger of being different in a macho-oriented school, where his experimentation with hair dyes caused controversy. Summing up his school years, Burns expressed that he learned nothing, hated the experience, and felt alienated in the 70s for his distinctive style inspired by David Bowie. Not long after, Burns experienced sexual abuse during a drive with a man he knew. Remarkably, he recalled not feeling upset by the incident even though he was threatened with an airgun at the time. Between 1977 and 1984, Burns worked as a shop assistant at Probe Records, a Liverpool-based independent record shop. Hired for his eccentric appearance, including an 18th-century shepherd's smock and a distinctive upside-down straw top hat, Burns became a local attraction, drawing customers from Wales and Leeds. Often referred to as King Punk, he entertained and intimidated customers with his bold persona. Encouraged by the shop owner Jeff Davies, Burns would openly criticize customers' music choices, with some customers finding his interactions both intimidating and entertaining. BBC radio producer Graham Robertson fondly remembered the unique experience of approaching the counter while Burns was serving, describing it as a mix of humor, intimidation, and animated conversations. Despite his eventual success, Burns harbored no aspirations of becoming a singer and openly disliked the sound of his own voice, expressing a desire to sing falsetto like Sylvester. In 1977, Burns co-founded the punk band The Mystery Girls with Julian Cope, Pete Wiley, and Phil Hurst, though they disbanded after just one performance. Burns's on-stage style drew inspiration from transgender punk performer Wayne County. In 1979, Burns formed band Nightmares in Wax, later renamed Dead or Alive in 1980. The band's early gothic post-punk sound gained attention with their 1980 EP, Birth of a Nation, released on Inevitable Records. Despite lineup changes, Dead or Alive singles, starting with 1982's The Stranger, gained traction on the UK indie chart. In 1983, Epic Records signed the band, releasing singles like Misty Circles, but mainstream success remained elusive. His relationship with the corporate music industry was uneasy, as he found fault with its functioning and rejected the conventional promotion methods. Burns refused to let record company staff preview his music before completion, much to their displeasure, and opted for a sink or swim approach, refusing to actively promote his work. The debut album, Sophisticated Boom Boom, from Dead or Alive hit the shelves in May 1984, featuring their first top 40 UK single, a cover of KC and the Sunshine Band's That's the Way I Like It, which peaked at number 22. The album reached number 29. As media exposure grew, Burns's eccentric look drew comparisons to Boy George and Marilyn. Despite the attention, Burns found producing the album to be a joyous experience without commercial pressure. During this period, Burns crossed paths with Courtney Love, who later acknowledged him as a local punk celebrity. In addition to his musical pursuits, Burns worked as a clothes designer and owned a fashion shop in Liverpool, where he was known for bluntly criticizing his own designs. Dead or Alive's second album, Youthquake, released in May 1985 and produced by Saw, Stock Aitken Waterman, became a global sensation. Despite clashes during the recording of the lead single, You Spin Me Round, it soared to number 1 on the UK singles chart, marking Saw's first chart topper. The track also reached number 11 in the US and number 1 in Canada. Other singles from the album, including Lover Come Back to Me, also In Too Deep, and My Heart Goes Bang Get Me to the Doctor, all made the UK Top 30. Pete Burns revealed in his autobiography that he composed You Spin Me Round by combining two existing songs. Despite the international success, Burns expressed dissatisfaction with Youthquake, citing it as his least favorite album, and admitted fearing success, preferring not to achieve too high chart positions. In late 1986, Dead or Alive dropped their third album, Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know. The production process was marred by clashes with Saw, frustrated by the band's resistance to house music and Burns's refusal to surrender songwriting duties. Burns faced record company reluctance in selecting singles, and a dispute over the mix of the album's third single, Hooked on Love, led to Burns refusing to film a video, accusing the label of mishandling the release. Brand New Lover, Dead or Alive's lead single from their third album, enjoyed moderate success in the UK at number 31 but performed exceptionally well in the US, reaching number 15 on the Hot 100 and claiming the number 1 spot on the Billboard Dance Chart. Pete Burns attributed the UK's subdued performance to the record company's failure to meet demand. The album's other singles included the UK standout, Something in My House, and a controversial 12-inch mix called Naughty XXX. A disagreement with the label over the mix hindered the UK success of the third single, Hooked on Love, which featured a gothic overtone. After the album release, Tim Lever and Mike Percy left Dead or Alive to pursue successful careers as mixers and producers. The band's greatest hits album, Rip It Up, was released in 1987, accompanied by a concert tour spanning Europe, the United States, and Japan. Footage from shows in Tokyo and Osaka was released as Rip It Up Live on videocassette and laserdisc. Despite turning down offers to tour with Madonna and Bon Jovi to be with his terminally ill mother, Burns faced insensitive remarks from a manager, impacting his emotional well-being. His mother's death in 1987 led to a struggle in creating new music, contributing to a nervous breakdown. In mid-1988, Dead or Alive, now a duo with Burns and Coy, released the self-produced album, Nude, retrospectively praised as their best. The album featured the successful single, Turn Around and Count to 10. Burns toured in 1989 with Saw performers Sunita and Kylie Minogue, culminating in a performance at the Tokyo Dome. In 1990, Dead or Alive released their studio album, Fan the Flame, Part 1, finding success mainly in Japan, where it peaked at number 27 on the Japanese albums chart. Although work had begun on Fan the Flame, Part 2, the album was shelved until its completion in 2021. Some tracks were later re-recorded for the 1995 album, Cleopatra. In 2000, the band released Fragile, featuring remakes, new tracks, and covers, including the hit single, Hit and Run Lover, which peaked at number 2 on the Japanese charts. Subsequent releases included the remix album, Unbreakable, in 2001, the greatest hits album, Evolution, The Hits, in 2003, and a re-release of You Spin Me Round, which reached number 23 on the UK singles chart. His solo music career and collaborations include the mid-1990s collaboration with Glam for the single, Sex Drive, later re-recorded for Dead or Alive's album, Cleopatra. In 2004, his solo track Jack and Jill Party, produced by the Pet Shop Boys, reached number 75 on the UK singles chart. On September 7, 2010, his solo single, Never Marry an Icon, produced by Dirty Disco, was released on iTunes under Steve Coy's label, Bristar Records. In December 2003, the BBC apologised for Pete Burns swearing on its pre-9 p.m. Liquid news show. Burns appeared on Celebrity Wife Swap, Celebrity Big Brother 4 in January 2006, reaching 5th place. During Celebrity Big Brother, Burns caused controversy by claiming to wear a coat made of gorilla fur, which led to police confiscation and tests revealing it was Colobus monkey fur. In 2006, he presented Pete Burns' Cosmetic Surgery Nightmares on ITV. His life was featured on shows like Pete's PA in 2007 and Psychic Therapy on the Biography Channel in 2008. Burns co-hosted The Body Shocking Show in 2013 and Celebrity Wedding Planner. His final musical performance was on Big Brother's Bit on the Side in May 2015, and his last public appearance was on Celebrity Botched Up Bodies in September 2016. Personally, Burns married Lynn Corlett in Liverpool on the 8th of August 1980 after meeting in a hair salon where they both worked. Despite initial misconceptions from Corlett's parents about the union, they were married for 26 years, eventually divorcing in 2006. Shortly after, Burns entered a civil partnership with Michael Simpson in 2007. Corlett later noted Burns' honesty about his relationship with Simpson, and despite the divorce, she described it as very amicable. Regarding his sexuality, Burns resisted labels, expressing, "People always want to know, am I gay, bi, trans, or what? I say, forget all that. There's got to be a completely different terminology, and I'm not aware if it's been invented yet. I'm just Pete." He underscored his identification as male, making it clear that he never intended to be a woman. Burns emphasized, "It freaks me that someone could think I was a woman. Don't get me wrong, I love women, I love men too, and I'm very proud to be a man." Burns, known for his extensive cosmetic surgeries, revealed having around 300 procedures by 2016. His first rhinoplasty in 1984 was to address a broken nose from a punk-era headbutt. The surgery was a disaster, and had left his nose completely caved in on one side. So bad, he had to wear an eye patch when singing on Top of the Pops to cover it. Burns continued with various surgeries, including lip augmentation. A lip procedure in 2006 went wrong, causing infections that spread to the rest of his face, leaving holes in his skin which would excrete yellow fluid. Other surgery-related problems caused severe health issues like pulmonary embolisms, near-fatal blood clots and kidney stones. Burns sued his cosmetic surgeon, settling for £450,000 in 2007. Sadly, his life savings went into reconstructive surgery, and in 2014, he declared bankruptcy, facing eviction in 2015 for non-payment of rent of £34,000. On October 23, 2016, Burns passed away in London from a sudden cardiac arrest. Concerns about his health arose in May 2016 when he appeared bloated and disheveled in public. Tributes from Boy George, Mark Armand, and George Galloway highlighted Burns as a unique and brilliant personality. Boy George, despite past rivalry, covered the costs of Burns' funeral, who had accused him of appropriating his distinctive image. At the time of his passing, Burns was only 57 years old. And there you have it. As we reflect on the lasting impact Pete Burns left on the music industry, with his unique persona, unapologetic style, and undeniable talent, he will continue to inspire generations. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the captivating stories of music legends. Thanks for watching and bye for now.